Nice to meet you all. I'm David. My team makes two products, NFT.Storage and Web3.Storage. I'll talk about both of them. The growth has mostly come on the NFT storage side, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on the Web3 storage side as well. For instance, Strange Mood, who you met earlier, uses Web3 storage to store their assets. So our team is called Nitro currently. We will soon be known as DAG House, so look forward to that transition. We develop NFT.Storage and Web3.Storage. Overall, our team's mission is to really be the on-ramp for folks to be able to utilize content-addressed data, decentralized storage on IPFS and Filecoin, while still providing the ease of use and performance that users are really used to. We want to equip both developers and end users with these superpowers. With Web3, the paradigm's shifting where everyone has an identity. It's a network-based data interaction model. So end users are a really important part of the story. We want to be viewed as a default option, just a goal for our team to build such cool products that whenever folks want to store anything, they're thinking of us. And we want to be an abstraction layer for folks to be able to take advantage of PL Stack upgrades. We know all sorts of cool stuff are coming to Filecoin and IPFS. Users should be able to take advantage of these features for free as they come out. They should be able to get underneath the hood as much as they want to, but if they don't want to add complexity to the things they're worrying about, just let them focus on web development. So I guess what are these products? They are sister storage products and services that provide users with, on one side, ease of use and performance that folks are used to from traditional cloud storage. So 2 lines of code, be able to store data, lean into infrastructure like Cloudflare, where you have very, very fast performance. That should say 50 millisecond, not 50 second, just FYI. And then the other side is having superpowers of content addressed and provable decentralized storage, which we all know very much well about, and then tons of other Web3 innovations that we want to bring to the forefront. Framed another way, at the surface, you interact as a developer with very simple things on the storage and retrieval side, HTTP URLs, a few lines of code, NPM. You're interacting with very familiar infrastructure. But then underneath the hood, there's all the sorts of things that IPFS and Filecoin deal with that our team knows very well, and a lot of folks here know very well, but users and developers do not know very well, and we want to take care of that. And in the middle, and this is actually a question we get quite often, or maybe you would expect to get it even more often. Folks ask, what's the difference between you and AWS and like S3 and services like that? Well, CIDs are really kind of the glue in the middle, which bridge the gap between users storing their data and then being able to do that trustlessly, because CIDs are computed locally. When they retrieve, they based on CIDs, and it's all in the cryptography. And then moving forward, we also want to lean into a lot of this Web3 magic, where decentralized identity, mutable naming, private data, a lot of Filecoin improvements are brought to the forefront. As far as NFT.Storage goes, it was a product that was launched May 2022. We have just crossed 40 million uploads on NFT.Storage, over 23,000 users now, and 140 terabytes stored in Filecoin. Really, where the vision of the product came from was to make it as easy as possible for users, artists minting NFTs, marketplaces, whoever, to use IPFS CIDs in NFTs, because the potential of NFTs are really undermined if they're not using like a property of the data itself, the CID to refer to the data, because there's this immutable on-chain component, but the NFT doesn't mean anything without an immutable off-chain component as well. And one really cool thing about CIDs too is we can be that on-ramp to get data available onto IPFS and give them the CID, but from there, they can store data redundantly anywhere. With IPFS, it doesn't really matter how many copies, as long as there's one, and if they're moving around, as long as the folks storing the data are broadcasting it to the network, you can get it back. It's free to onboard data today and for as long as we can, and once onboarded, data will be stored perpetually. And related to this is our overall mission to establish NFT persistence as a public good. So you think about organizations today whose goal is to archive the internet and store all the information. Well, we want to be that for NFTs. It's partially to fulfill the potential of NFTs. It's very much in the art space today, but if you take a step back and just look at it as a data graph, you can kind of see the potential of an immutable data graph of the web with an on-chain component, what an NFT is, the chain of ownership, the off-chain component, immutable links to the data, which links to other data and things like that. And preserving that is going to, reduce the pitfalls of a lot of what we see in the web today. And the plan there is to write smart contracts on the Filecoin virtual machine to enforce long-term replication redundancy of the data that we're storing on Filecoin, and fund the renewal and replication through a DAO to keep things trustless and transparent in the long term. And just quick shout out to a big effort kind of going on, on the side right now, but we're going to make some announcements about this pretty soon. We have this effort called Nifty Save, where we're scraping chains starting with Ethereum for NFTs and persisting the data onto NFT.Storage. So even if you didn't use NFT.Storage initially, and even if you didn't use an IPFS CID when you minted your NFT, you will be able to take advantage of the long-term persistence on NFT.Storage. As far as Web3.Storage goes, it is a newer product. It was launched August 2022. Currently, about just under 15 million uploads, about 7,000 users, and 91 terabytes stored in Filecoin. And it's really there for every other storage use case that is not NFTs. And even NFTs, honestly. You can build whatever on top of it, and user-facing dApps, dev tools, other storage services. It really is kind of this generic storage layer that you can use for whatever you want to build. 1 terabyte will always be free for new users. Today, beyond that, it is also free with this admittedly kind of silly model where you come and request more storage by showing us your project. But we're going to move to a more transparent model there where folks can stake Filecoin to increase storage limits. And really the roadmap for Web3.Storage is to enable anyone to have a Web3.Storage account, applications or end users, and then authorize others to use their storage on each other's behalf. So I think what you get in this model is this notion of data ownership by a user, which is kept trustless through IPFS and Filecoin. We want to use things like IPNS and decentralized identity, the encryption, that sort of thing, to make it such that anyone can use IPFS and Filecoin for any sort of use case, and use pretty simple to interact with libraries to do so. And there's a lot more ahead on that side, so stay tuned. If you have a video use case or a gaming use case or whatever, we want to be there for you. On the backend side, they share a very similar backend, and just wanted to call out that we are leaning into a ton of kind of more traditional cloud infrastructure like Cloudflare, like cloud storage, that sort of thing, to provide great production-ready performance and reliability for our end users, with the philosophy that, hey, like not all this stuff is bad stuff. It's great to be able to snap your fingers and be able to scale up your infrastructure elastically and that sort of thing. But by making sure we're designing the systems to be based around CIDs, keeping things trustless, making sure that we or no one else are locked into the service providers we're using today. And then, yeah, check us out. So we have websites, we have support channels on IPFS, Discord, Bridge to Filecoin, Slack, and follow at NFT.Storage on Twitter to read about a whole bunch of cool thought pieces that the team's writing. Chris is on the call, and so is JB. We had a CoinDesk article a few weeks ago, and you can stay tuned with the cool feature launches. We just got full support in Metaplex, which is the main place where folks mint NFTs in Solana, which I think will be huge. So yeah, please do follow, and thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, David, and welcome to the whole NFT.Storage crew for joining the ecosystem working group. We're absolutely delighted to have you guys on board. And the growth that the community has experienced through NFT.Storage is truly remarkable, doubling every 1.5 months, growing at 60% monthly, crossing 40 million NFTs. a huge congratulations to all of your users and the folks supporting them to get to these milestones.
Yeah,
So
and quick shout out to all the help we've gotten from ecosystem working groups so far. We're big users of Estuary to get things onto Filecoin, as well as all the support to growing the product from folks like JB and Han and Lucas and Mosh and many more.
Awesome.